So I want to tell you that I'm very happy to be here and to welcome you, of course, for this Starts in Motion Day. I am very honored to open this series of sessions where we will talk about how driven projects shape the economy of the future and go beyond business. And we will discuss and showcase how our tech projects promote an ethical and sustainable economy. So today we will have 5 thematic sessions, 2 this morning on health and data privacy, and 3 this afternoon on environment, digital services for culture and industry, and human exploration. So all these sessions will be introduced by inspiring speakers, and a time for Q&A will occur after the 5-minute speeches made by the teams of the projects that were selected for this year edition of Starts in Motion. So I am Aurélie Delater. I am a senior project manager at INOVA, which is innovation consultancy based in Portugal. And INOVA is coordinating the Stars Ecosystem project, which is funded by DG Connect of the European Commission, with a fantastic consortium formed by Ars Electronica, IRCAM, Gluon, UCA, and French Tech. And so within this project, we animate and strengthen the STARS community. So all the artists, tech, scientists, supporters, and other STARS projects. And we do this through events, meetup, pop-up exhibitions, social media, the website stars.eu. And this community, the STARS community, has been growing and growing over the years and counts now more than 7,000 people worldwide. So if you are not part of it already, I encourage you to join us. Within STARS Ecosystem, we also manage the Starts in Motion program. So Starts in Motion, we have designed this program as an art tech accelerator to empower artists and technologists in further developing their art tech project and explore the business side of their creative endeavors. And for the past 4 months, the 21 teams of this year edition have learned about business models, storytelling, public and private funding, development strategies, pitching through group sessions and individual mentoring. And I have been very fortunate to work with 2 wonderful women, Cristina Moher from Ars Electronica and Martina Vivarelli from INOVA. And together we have coordinated the workshops, matched the teams with the right mentors, and accompanied the teams individually to ensure that they were able to progress as they wished and that they could reach their own objectives. I think what makes Starts in Motion special in the landscape of the accelerator is that we have designed this program in the framework of STARS, always keeping in mind that art-driven projects are not traditional businesses because they are led by artists and designers who have at heart to bring an innovative perspective on the market with a critical eye on technology and a central ethical and sustainable dimension. So this field is emergent in the economy, and art-driven projects have to build their own path in the market by finding a compromise between speaking the language of the business and keeping their identity. And so with Starts in Motion, the objective is to empower artists to gain skills and knowledge about business models, pricing, pitching, but also approaching investors and developing their business so they are able to promote new solutions that are human-centered and I would say to own the place and to create new spaces and new models that can shape the economy of the future. This economy that we want to be respectful of the environment, and of the planet, of the consumers, and turned to people. We have been accompanied in this journey by a pool of 15 fabulous mentors all experience in the field of art, design, business, and technology, who have coached the teams to develop their project. And I would like to take this occasion to really thank them for their involvement and their enthusiasm. For us, the mentors, Christina, Martina, and I, it has been an exciting journey to manage the program and to accompany the 21 teams. We have met extraordinary people from all over Europe, Egypt, the US, Australia, with a very diverse group that since the kickoff in March have shared their passion and dynamism. Always interested, always willing to learn from each other, always showing up, and even asking for more workshops and more homework. The diversity of the projects of our panel today is exceptional, but they share something in common: the ability to be drivers of innovation in the context of the current economy, where multidisciplinarity and the digital transition achieve an added value when integrating an artistic perspective. So all the experienced artists, scientists, and technologists that you will be listening today are here to present their project and make new connections with a powerful network of professionals that you represent. So along the day, we want to hear from you also, whether in the chat or during the Q&A time, and hopefully this will be the beginning of new collaborations. It has been for us an intense adventure where we have learned and grown a lot. And for me, at personal level, it has provided me with a very positive feeling, showing me that bright perspectives are possible for the future, that human solidarity and ethical values are carried out by the young generation, and how transdisciplinary innovation is vibrant in Europe, and how art-driven perspectives can bring disruptive and sustainable products to life. So thank you from all my heart for this wonderful experience. Now, before we start with the sessions, I would like to introduce Alexandra Garatzogianni, Head of Knowledge and Technology Transfer at the Leibniz Information Center for Science and Technology and Coordinator of EU projects at the Leibniz University of Hannover. Alexandra is an expert in management, linguistics, media, and communication. Her interests focus on innovation, software product management, and data-driven entrepreneurship. She has an extensive experience in EU project coordination and is currently leading MediaFuse, one of the digital innovation hubs, part of the START initiative, that together startups, SMEs, and artists in the media value chain to expand on standard models and comes up with unconventional ways for people to engage with quality journalism, science education, and democratic processes. Away from this impressive curriculum, Alexandra is a passionate, enthusiastic, and a beautiful soul, and we are very honored for her presence today. Alexandra, thanks a lot for being here. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Aurélie. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Let me share my screen. If I had a heart emoji, I would be sending a heart emoji to thank you for your kind words. And let's start with the keynote. And let me share my screen, full screen, so you can see it. Well, so wonderful to be here today. And to begin with, I would really like to congratulate each and every one of you on your impressive achievements. So let's take a moment to reflect on what you have all achieved, which is very impressive. I have also learned that you have worked very hard and have progressed a lot. So congratulations. That's very important in your professional journey. So let's start with an overview of what I will be speaking about today. So to begin with, I will be sharing some frameworks of innovation and innovation tools. And actually, my goal is to prove that innovation is human-centric, and actually it has inherent in itself an artistic perspective. Moving on, I will also be speaking about creativity, and I will be giving tips on how we can all be more creative. We all want that, don't we? Moreover, I will be speaking about sustainability and the economy of the future. So let's start. So innovation is a very exciting concept. Nowadays, it is mostly liaised to the technology aspects of it. So we all speak about technological innovation. Nevertheless, we should all consider that innovation is much broader. So we can visualize innovation as a spectrum where we range from adding features or making small changes, that means incremental innovation, and this expands further to radical innovation, where we have our disruptive elements and our game-changing elements. And moreover, innovation can happen on various levels. For example, we have a product level innovation, also introducing a new process, for example, on how you develop your project or your product or your artwork. This process is itself an innovation. And moreover, managerial, how we work with our teams, how we structure our teamwork every day, how we set up our startup or our corporation. Innovation can be managerial too. And moreover, when we bring together our value proposition and our value architecture, we have our profit equation, and that shapes our business model. So nowadays, with the advent of internet, we have our business model innovation. That means how we can create innovative revenue streams. So this is why we need this new way of thinking. Actually, we have to go beyond the tools and the tech and the hard skills. And this is why the artistic perspective is very, very important, as well as the human-centric perspective. As the market can be saturated, for example, we have some segments that are saturated. Moreover, we have very rapid challenges like the virus, and many things, the disruption happening. So this is why having this unique artistic viewpoint is really a unique selling point, but adds a lot of value. So I would really encourage you to look into the SDGs of the United Nations. It's really important to be inspired by a higher mission and a calling in your life and professional life. And in that sense, I would really encourage you all to go towards social entrepreneurship. Maybe you have already tried that, and you can see if your ongoing entrepreneurial project is related to a certain or more SDGs that are very important, or you can use that as a guidance for your future entrepreneurial journey. At the same time, there are many other innovation models, for example, design thinking, where the user is very important, and moreover, how we interact with the user or the potential customer. So we can ask questions and the user will reply yes or no, but this is itself a very limiting experience. So there's a lot of tacit knowledge and tacit communication happening. So this is why we really have to observe the user, empathize with their needs, and work with them. And that helps us design better products and solutions. Moreover, IDEO is another innovation framework that is used for design thinking. And in that case of IDEO, we are really looking forward to find what is really desirable for the user, what do they need? And then we judge if it is technologically feasible and if there is potential in the market. So actually, these three elements here are circles, and we are searching for the sweet spots where these circles interact and overlap together. And speaking about circular economy, that is a very big buzzword and a very important element as well. We all know how much the environment and the climate are threatened, let's say, or by the human activity. So we want to be more environmentally friendly in the future and also develop solutions that contribute and have elements of circular economy. So what is really innovative about circular economy is that it changes the process, let's say from cradle to grave, where we add this unique element of cradle to cradle. That means that we are taking the products and the process or the elements and we recycle or also upcycle them. And this way we have the unique innovation potential to redefine growth. And actually this is very helpful, and I believe there will be much more investment opportunities in the future if you kind of connect your entrepreneurial project with this very important angle. Moreover, open innovation, what we're calling about thinking out of the box and developing innovative solution brings new elements in your journey. So when we're speaking about open innovation, it's very important to have this decentralized approach where we collaborate with corporations, bigger companies, or even startups, and we're trying to find solutions that address their challenges. And open innovation can happen from the outside in and the inside out. So this is why I would really encourage you to explore these paths as well. And as you see, they're very much related to your artistic mentality, and they're very human central. Empathy is very important. So when we are dealing with our users and customers, and you will see in your entrepreneurial journey that there will be many situations where you have to negotiate, where you have to motivate your team. That's highly important. And actually, it's a skill that is very highly sought after. As you see, as you progress through your career, you will see that the tech skills become less relevant, and it's more important to have very good soft skills. And actually, empathy helps you along the way a lot in your team and beyond. And it's a very important element. I think artists have more the capacity to feel, to express emotions, to understand. So it's really important to bring these unique elements in your art tech projects as well. Storytelling is a very important element. It actually can make your value proposition very engaging for your stakeholders. It can motivate, it can raise a lot of awareness for your entrepreneurial project. So it's really important also to liaise your artistic capacity to the storytelling approach and how you can really present the impact that you're having or that you envision to have. And actually, many skills are required here to communicate your mission appropriately to the right audience. And I always say that the artistic element in entrepreneurship goes much beyond having a nice logo and a nice design and a nice concept. I think what is really important about the artistic perspective is the mentality and the interconnection that happens there when people of different disciplines are working together and collaborating. And actually, the teams are always much more productive and important and can achieve more together than one certain individual or a group of individuals that are part of only one discipline. So that said, I would like to discuss now creativity. And as we know, it's very important to be creative and very useful. And let's see why. So actually, a shift happened in Renaissance. So before, being creative was kind of contributed to being inspired by the divine. And actually, in Renaissance, a shift happened when the artists started to sign their work. And that means that they attributed creativity to themselves and not to a divine source. So, for example, we can consider Leonardo da Vinci, who was a polymath. He was an artist, he was a scientist, and a very high ideal to aspire to, and he has achieved so many things, and he is, in my point of view, a key source of inspiration that unites the artistic part and the research part. So how can we be more creative and increase our creative potential, which is very important in how we manage our career and our entrepreneurial project and journey? We all have in our minds the picture of the artist that suffers, the artist that experiences a lot of pain, a lot of grief, a lot of sadness. And all this is conducive to the artist to develop amazing artworks that can inspire generations to come. Nevertheless, the truth is quite different. It's not like that. So what shapes our creativity? Actually, our personality is very important. It doesn't matter if you're introvert or extrovert, but being open to new ideas is very conducive, for example, to being creative or having this curiosity to explore and to learn. That is really important for creativity. Also, our social environment. So in what way we are what experiences we have, this is also very important too. And moreover, how much we engage in creative ventures. For example, did you participate in theater plays at school or after school, or did you go often to museums? This also increases the creative potential. So to be more creative, we have to experience positive emotions. So there's actually research based on that. So the more stressed you are and the more depressed, the less creative you become. So you diminish your creative potential. What we can do to be more creative is to really focus and savor very nice experiences. So you have to find your sources of joy. And I highly recommend that these sources of joy are not like a major event that takes years to happen. So you really have to savor simple things every day, like speaking with a friend, having a coffee, looking at the sky. This is very conducive to increasing your creative potential, having this appreciation, and also finding your mission in life and higher like a goal to aspire to, while also taking care of your meditation and mental health in general. So this can make you more creative. As we see, there are many sources of inspiration nowadays, especially with the internet. We have easier access to many sources of inspiration, and that can help us grow. And also, what I mentioned before about relaxation, you know that many people come up with ideas, for example, in the shower, they have their eureka moment. So please make sure to take good care of yourself, and this way you can increase your creative potential. Moreover, we have this cross-pollination that is very indicative of that. For example, we mentioned Da Vinci before. This like an example of cross-pollination among disciplines. And this is a sure way to test frameworks of other disciplines and to enrich them with other viewpoints and unique perspectives that have a better holistic outcome in the end. So this is why I think that we need to have a transdisciplinary approach to sustainability. And let's explore that more together. So sustainability is a very complex situation. We are dealing here with a wicked problem. It's not a research question that we answer to a certain extent. In sustainability, we really have to make sure to integrate what we have developed across multiple stakeholders. And most of the time, these stakeholders have conflicting interests, conflicting goals, viewpoints. So it's very difficult to bring them all together and reach a unanimous decision. Moreover, there are many ethical aspects to consider. So we really want to make sure that what we develop respects the rights of concerned groups. So this is why we need to have this holistic approach in sustainability, where many stakeholders come together to develop a solution. I strongly believe that art and humanities and tech should work together, and they do, and we work towards this direction. That is very important. So when we compartmentalize, let's say, a science or a discipline, this facilitates growth in a domain for a certain time period, but afterwards it can also lead to isolation, and we want to avoid that. So I think sustainability itself is a very diverse and inclusive concept where we all come together to collaborate, to work together to solve social challenges. And we need to have this solution-oriented approach when it comes to the end result. Having this sustainability perspective is really helpful. It helps us reconcile many differences, incorporate diverse perspectives, and also we can leverage what we have developed in the best way. And the best way is really to have a product or a process or something innovative that helps society as a whole. And this way we can develop together sustainable solutions. Speaking about the future and what lies ahead of us, so the World Economic Forum, I highly recommend that you take a look very often on their website. So these are the 10 leading skills of the new economy. And as you see, most of them are critical thinking, they're like are very human-centric, and also have elements that are core parts of the artistic identity and artistic mentality and artistic way of thinking. As you see, there are also technical elements here, there are hard skills, but you see how much the soft skills are a greater part here of this 10 leading skills that will be required in the future. So this is why I think that you're all in the right track and we're progressing in the right way. As you see, we have critical thinking, creativity, originality, and initiative, leadership, and I highly encourage you to look into that more as an inspiration. So as Steve Jobs said, we can only connect the dots backwards, and that is why I highly encourage you to continue on your entrepreneurial journey. It's my goal here today to motivate and inspire you to that direction and to keep going and to keep developing and growing. We can even consider ourselves as a startup, let's say, that grows and develops and has also to diversify. So acquiring skills across a spectrum of disciplines is also helpful, because this way you can have a more holistic perspective and approach, and this will make a difference in your work and will improve it. So let's go to the economy of the future and what lies ahead of us. For sure, exciting times. So it's a VUCA world, and we knew that before this virus, and somehow this virus has highly accelerated everything, meaning the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So we are going through this period now, so therefore we need to develop our skills to address these challenges. And the skills for that, the right skills type, are problem solving, self-management. That's very important also when working from home, working with people, and also technology use, of course, and development. I would really like to highlight how important it is to be resilient at these times, to have grit, and please make sure to take good care of your mental health, using also the creativity tips that I shared before. So let's see the way to the future and how it looks like. There are many science fiction films that showcase the future as a very dystopian place to live in. I would really like to believe that it can also be utopian, so we can all work together and co-create and co-develop new solutions and shape a better future for us all together. So I would like to thank you so much for having me today. It has been a great pleasure. And before I give the floor back to Aurélie, I would like briefly to add an advertisement break that might be useful for some of you. I'm namely coordinating the Media Futures project, and we are so happy and honored to be part of the STARTS ecosystem. So in our case, we are funding artists, SMEs, and startups that develop solutions to address the challenges of the media sector. And I highly encourage you to spread the word to your friends and colleagues that might have the right profile for this program, and they can benefit from the funding, which is actually equity-free funding, and also our other customized mentorship program. In our case, Media Futures will be launching its second open call this autumn, and we have a third and final open call next year. So I hope this can benefit some of you and of your contacts. So feel free to reach out to me if you need more information or want to discuss more, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. Thank you so much. Aurélie, back to you.
Alexandra, thank you so much for this inspiring speech. It was very nice. Thanks a lot. Before we move now with our sessions, I wanted to ask you something, or to put your camera on, and that we give an applause of encouragement to the teams that will pitch today, because it has been really an intensive journey. We have practiced a lot. We have asked them to send a video pitch. Then we had 2 sessions of pitching. They have been evaluated. So we have really worked a lot for this day to be a success. And I know that they need some encouragement, even though I know they will be awesome. We know it. So very nice to see you all also, even if we are not really together in the same room. It's very nice to see you. And so you can unmute, and let's give everyone an applause. Yeah!
Oh, congrats! You made it.
Thank you. Okay, Christina, now over to you.
Thank you very much, Aurélie. I'm very happy to take us all into the first session of today, Art Tech for Health. So we are going to hear in a few minutes from 4 teams who have developed projects that focus on an inclusive perspective on health and that really bring together art, education, and awareness raising in their projects. And I'm more than happy to introduce you now to Maria Butkovic, who will kick this session off with a short impulse talk. And she's really the perfect person now to guide us into this topic. Maria is a lawyer turned entrepreneur, innovation consultant, feminist, and an advocate for diversity and inclusion in the tech sector. She's also the founder and CEO of Women for Wearables. Women for Wearables is a leading global organization that aims to support, connect, and mentor women and allies in emerging technologies, such as wearables, IoT, and health tech. And Maria has really been an absolutely fantastic ally for Starts in Motion and an absolutely integral part of the program. She has supported many of our teams in their project development process as a mentor with her invaluable insights. So Maria, I'm very happy to give you the floor now and introduce us to the Art Tech for Health session.
Thank you so much, Christina, and good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today because I love mentoring people. I love participating in these programs. So when Aurélie asked me to be a mentor, I was very honored, and I love sharing my knowledge because I still see myself from the beginning of my journey. I mentored 6 teams at the Starts in Motion program. And I'll talk about that in a bit, but I learned so much because no matter how far you think you might be on your journey, there's always space for learning. So that's also one of the lessons that, I was trying to share with my mentees, be open, be coachable, and be always ready to learn new things because entrepreneurship is a journey. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So a bit about me, Christina has already said what I do. So I really wear multiple hats. I'm a startup mentor, an advisor, and a journalist. I write for Forbes as well. So my sweet spot is health tech space and women's health space. And I also run my organization for Women in Tech, Women in Wearables. And something that I've noticed over the past few years is that more and more women are coming into this space and more diverse teams are coming into this space. And I can see a lot more creative projects in the health tech space. So when I heard about the STARTS program, I was really happy because very often art is portrayed as something that is quite disconnected from the world of technology. A lot of people who might not be immersed in that space might think that it's something that doesn't have to do much with each other. And I actually think that's completely not the true. And the versatility of the teams on this project, 20-something teams and diversity of projects and outside the box thinking that I've seen has really proved me that there's so much talent and potential at the intersection of arts and technology and STEM in general, which I think hopefully will be translated into funding that goes to these companies. So in terms of health tech ecosystem in Europe, I have been following it for a few years now because wearable technology, especially in the context of healthcare, has been one of the key areas that my organization has been focusing on for the last 5 years. And Europe really has incredible hub for innovation. We have some of the leading medical centers here, research centers, universities, incredible companies, and finally investment is slowly picking up. So we are not lagging so much behind, I would say, US. But what I have also discovered is that still companies that operate at the intersection of art and technology need more sustainable financing, more funding, more business support. So that's why projects like this are so valuable to companies in this space. Something that I shared with the teams that I mentored is that if you're getting into health tech space, you have to think about it as a not very, but quite a long journey, and you have to be patient with yourself and with your project, because when you think about it, for development of a new drug, it takes over 10 years, and if you're working on a medical device, which I know some of you are working on, it can take up to 7 years from the initial idea to the final product development. So it does take time. It's a journey. When it comes to art, I see a lot of interesting projects out there that operating borderline with many different industries, and one of them is healthcare. I'll share with you two of my projects that I really, really love. Some of you might have heard of the company Artomatics. They are based in Ireland, coming from Ireland, and they're a 3D content creation tool that uses artificial intelligence that can be used in many different industries, including industrial design and healthcare and many others. And they have been acquired, as I mentioned, by Unity in 2020. And I love what they do. So that's also, you know, something to think about. You know, what are the areas that haven't been saturated with the innovation where you could innovate? And this is something that I try to taught my teams. Oops. I don't know what happened, but the camera was closed. Sorry, I'm here back. Another company is TeamLab. I don't know how many of you heard of that company. I love them, and I can't wait for their installation to come to London. So they are a company that does these incredible installations that basically immerse all your 5 senses. So you might have a feeling that you're under a waterfall, but actually it's not a waterfall, right? It's all digital experience. So these things show us that, you know, you don't necessarily need to have a deep tech, health tech project or product to be operating at the intersection of art and health tech. So these are just 2 examples. Another example that I would give you in context of wearable devices or wearables industry that I've been operating in is wearable tattoos that have been developed by MIT and Microsoft Research. It's called Dual Skin. If you Google them, you can find out more about them. And project actually here in the UK that was initiated by Tom Croft last year, Paintings in Hospitals, Healthcare Heroes. Online exhibition of NHS workers that's blending art and technology together. Definitely check it out. So why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you because Alexandra really well explained and mentioned it. She was spot on when she said that you have to think about developing your innovation in a very holistic way, right? We cannot detach art and technology because both areas are part of our everyday style and lifestyle. So they're inevitably connected to our lives on a daily basis. And when you think about the project, what you're working on, we would all rather use beautiful products, artistic products, empathetic products, products that, you know, we feel good about using, and art is something that comes into place here. The teams that I worked with, particularly as part of the programs, were incredibly well, you know, positioned in terms of innovation, uniqueness of their projects. I really haven't seen 2 similar teams, really outside the box thinking, and I sometimes was really like amazed. Wow, like I haven't even thought about this, how these companies are you know, thinking about innovating in this space. They're very coachable, and I think that would be my advice to everyone else who hasn't been my mentee, and I'm really glad that I had great teams to work with. You know, be coachable as an entrepreneur, be ready to learn, be ready to, you know, accept advice. I think that's super, super important, and especially if you've managed to get into the program like this, you know, ask and get all possible help that you can. And again, something that Alexandra mentioned at the end of her presentation, and I would maybe add to that in a similar way, when she mentioned connecting the dots backwards. Many of you have asked me, we are looking for investment. We will be asking for investment from entrepreneurs, from investors. As entrepreneurs, you have to realize that for investors, it's important to invest in lines, not in dots. So, you know, connect the lines between your dots, between your highlights, what you have achieved, most important milestones, and show that to investors, and that will show them the opportunity to invest. So remember that they do invest, and there is always a business opportunity in what you're doing. You know, investors are ready to invest. I see more and more support coming. And last but not least, I would like to say that, you know, mental health is super important. So already you started as an entrepreneur, you decided to become an entrepreneur. That's already a big, massive step forward. That's already something that takes a lot of courage to do. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. It's not easy to run a business. So I congratulate you all, because it takes a lot of courage to be that. Be patient with yourself, celebrate little successes, have fun along the way, spread the word about your achievements. You know, no achievement is too small. Build a support network around you. I'm always very happy to offer my help and support even beyond this program, because support network is something that is invaluable for every entrepreneur. And that's why, again, projects like this are so important. And I hope we all can stay in touch. And I wish to thank you once again to Aurélie and the incredible team at INOVA, and Christina and Ars Electronica, because they have superbly managed our communications. They have superbly project managed this whole project. Very rarely have I seen really so much passion and dedication to professional leading of the project. So I'm really grateful to be part of it. And I hope that you know, this is only one of the projects that we will be working together in the future. And I hope many more to come. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for all of you. Good luck. Remember, this is only one of the steps on your journey, this pitch today. What's even more important is what comes after, and I'll be cheering you up on the way.
Thank you very much, Maria, for this fantastic kickoff to today, and for your very kind words. We really appreciate your participation in the program. So I think a big thank you on behalf of all of us, the Starts in Motion team, and everybody who participated, for your fantastic support. So now I don't want to keep you all waiting any longer, and I would like to introduce the first of our teams that are going to share with you their project today. So I'm handing over now to Isaac Monte and Leah Grönwood van Vliet, who are going to introduce us to VIX by Prosthetic X. And that is a wearable that is tailored to the aging population, and that enhances vital and beautiful living through preventative monitoring of your health. So I'm very happy now to hand over to Isaac and Monte, and for them to share VIX.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So next to me is Isaac and my name is Leah, and we will indeed present the artwork Prosthetic X and the Art with an Innovation wearable VIX. So years from now, people will look back and find it incomprehensible that we didn't anticipate and act upon heart attacks, infarcts, or hundreds of other signals from the body through preventive monitoring. In our connected existence, the human body is increasingly becoming a platform for sensitive, connected, and interactive technologies.
So people often say, true beauty comes from within, a statement that transcends the test of time and often grows stronger as we age. And in parallel to this growing sense of beauty is the universal need to nurture ourselves, to stay active and stay healthy. And so, what if there were new ways for us to keep healthy and to stimulate active living?
That is why we want to present VIX to you today. VIX started in 2019 as an artistic exploration with the name Prosthetic X. And Prosthetic X explores the human-machine interaction in the form of an artificial data organ. This work addresses the potential of technological innovations in the context of societal and personal challenges of the aging population. You just saw 2 out of the 9 prosthetics. Isaac, can you tell more about it?
Of course. So Prosthetic X is an artificial data organ consisting of 9 different prosthetics in 3 different categories. The first 3 parameters are linked to the body itself, for example, activity tracking and the breathing pattern. The next 3 parameters are linked to external factors which have an influence on our body, such as air quality and UV radiation. And finally, we've selected 3 parameters which are linked to social interaction. These prosthetics measure the frequency of speech and the social reach, which brings me to our target audience for the prosthetics, the silver generation. Because the older we get, the smaller our social network becomes.
So you've seen these 9 prosthetics placed on the head or on the hands. But next to these 9, we've also developed an exo organ, which you can see here, Prosthetic X number 10. And this exo-organ is the real-time health status and performance of the one wearing the prosthetics. We created this exo-organ to question how we want to share and protect our data. The data donation register, which we created around it, empowers the wearer to make an informed decision and assure data privacy. With whom and when and what data do you want to share?
So Prosthetic X is a speculative project consisting of 10 interactive objects that change real-time connected to a scenario movie, which depicts how Prosthetic X would become part of our daily lives in the year 2030.
So this is our speculation, but technology already enables us to make this a reality. The developments on biotech and sensors help us to get there. And following the care path to innovation, we found out that Prosthetic X embeds the ingredients for a new wearable, having as central drivers, empowering people and improving safety, well-being, and vitality. And we do that in a unique way by a non-invasive, intuitive feedback mechanism. And that is what we call VIX, our wearable.
So with VIX, we look how we can receive feedback on our internal functioning and external environment in abstract, poetic ways without a need for graphic interfaces like screens or apps. We have selected 3 different parameters. The first one is monitoring vitamin D uptake and providing sunburn alerts. The second is stimulation of taking steps by means of gamification. And the last one is matching social interests.
So it all comes down to prevention. Prevention is key for a healthy, beautiful, and vital lifestyle. And with VIX and Prosthetic X, we engage the audience to do that.
So as you could see from the images and movies, Prosthetic X is a fully finished art project and it can be booked for exhibitions.
But we're not there yet, right? What are we doing now?
We want to go further, and in the upcoming months, we want to develop 50 prototypes of VIX. So you can contribute to the development of VIX by offering this additional experience to your visitors. You can let your visitors live experience how it would be to wear interactive prosthetics on their own body. So the visitors can test the prototype of the wearable, and we will use their input and their feedback to improve our wearable.
So for us, this is a two-staged approach. From Prosthetic X, the artwork, we are now transforming to an interactive wearable, which can be tested next to the artwork within an exhibition venue or another type of audience engagement. And with that data, it would help us to go to the next phase to really create this innovative wearable. So,
do you want to stand out and be our early adopter? If you want to know more, you can go to our website, prostheticx.eu, or reach out to us via email.
We really look forward to talk with you how you could live vital and Prosthetic X and VIX could help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leah and Isaac, for giving us an introduction to VIX and Prosthetic X. And we will have an opportunity at the end of the Art and Health Tech session for a Q&A together with all of the projects. So now I actually want to jump right into our next project. And I would like to hand over to Emanuela Corti and Ivan Parati. They'll tell you more about SenseWear, which is an inclusive collection of smart garments that stimulate and improve the awareness of our senses as emotional indicators. So very happy to hear about SenseWear now from Emanuela and Ivan.
Hello. Hello, hi everyone. This is Emma and Ivan. We are with Sense and we are presenting SenseWear. 1 in 68 children suffers from sensory processing disorder, a condition that exists when sensory signals don't get organized into appropriate responses. Sensory processing disorders is connected with the autistic spectrum, which is the fastest growing developmental disability. And this is our daughter Viola. helping us modeling for one of our projects. She's healthy, but as a parent, you get sensitive towards developmental condition, and you always question yourself if you're doing the right choices. As designers, we felt a social responsibility to develop products that would help kids in their daily life. And we founded with sense, with the mission of improving life condition of human beings with or without disabilities, promoting social inclusion, diversity, and technology adoption. In the last few years, we have been crafting award-winning wearables projects aiming at disabled people, but that could also improve health condition of health-conscious people. Inflatable jackets, smart charms, biteable necklaces, interactive underwear are just among the most exciting projects for us. Our team, initially it was composed by me and Ivan, and then we joined forces with the Conftech and Alessia. And we are basing our competencies in design, research, and manufacturing from Conftech side. During our journey in the last few years, we collected several awards and grants, a few European grants that help us developing our prototypes. Our supporters are growing, and we had already several universities and foundations, and we are working towards improving them also. We imagine a virtuous system where we keep validating our garments and products at Institute. We envision our products to be addressed to the healthcare domain and to the health-conscious market. And we believe the community will play an important role where also give back will be implemented. The adaptive apparel market is recently expanding, and these figures are confirming it. We see a huge potential. And so this is why we rethought about what we've been doing in the last few years, and we want to restart with garments that are focusing their technological content on manufacturing process and material. The first part of the collection will ease sensitivity, while the second part will work in strain and stimulate senses through textures and accessories. So our values, our garments will be sensory proof, easing overwhelming sensation, will be inclusive to cover a range of size and needs, and they will be style aware to avoid the stigma of wearing medical clothing. Important feature will include fine manufacturing, technological material with low environmental impact and customization. As we mentioned, our community will have an important role to educate, inform, promote, assist, and especially listen to our customers' needs. This will give us the chance to be always ready with what they are looking for. Our market analysis provided us, proved our intuition. Most competitors are age-oriented with low attention to sensory issues and low design content. Many focus on special needs and wheelchair. We want to span across different age groups that are design aware and demands comfortable, stress-free clothing. With your help, we will develop our business on 3 different pathways. The main one will be the development and the manufacturing of the basic garments. Definitely, the development of the community will be an important aspect of our next step, together with the development of the distribution channels with brands collaboration. This is what we are looking for our next step. We are aiming at developing 10 different models of basic garments, and this is what we need to achieve that together with the development of our community. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for introducing us to SenseWare. And I am very happy to welcome Emanuela and Ivan also to the Q&A at the end of this session. And now we would actually like to take you on an immersive journey into the human body together with Salome Bazin, who is going to introduce us to Echoes. And Echoes is an app that allows you to listen and watch visualizations of your heart's ebb and flow. Please feel free to take the floor, Salome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to the START's entire team for the support. So we are Echoes team. We'll do a very quick run of introduction with my two team members. So I am Salome Bazin, the founder of the Cellule Studio, healthcare design and interaction studio.
I'll be next here, and I'm gonna challenge yourself to everybody in the audience to recognize this sound. If I make like doop 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 doop, I can imagine that you all recognize it. But did you know that 50 years ago, when we didn't have the imaging capabilities in hospital, cardiologists were so skilled with their ears that most of the diagnosis and therapy was based on those sounds? So I am Pablo Lamata. I'm a professor in computational cardiology, working on King's College London. And I believe that we can get the skills of those cardiologists of the past in a mobile app that is operated by ourselves. So our Echoes app aims to unlock patient empowerment and creativity by giving thousands of humans the opportunity to record, benchmark, and share their heart sounds.
So I will present you the third member as well. We started with a scientific question with Echoes. Can we use our smartphone to hear heart sounds clearly, directly from a mobile phone? So we spent a year in technical research and developing the algorithm so that was possible. And we've launched Echoes this year. It's really when we met with charities and teenagers from Echo that we realized that there was actually much more than diagnosis that we could actually do by being able to record heart sounds. We realized that listening to heart sounds and sharing them with the community was also something that could help some teenagers in breaking stigmas around cardiovascular care. I just realized that you can see that, and feeling connected to those they share them with. So we've taken the decision to design Echoes not with a purely medical visual language, and so we could allow each and everyone to listen to it, reflect on their own and unique rhythm, and consider the creative potential of their own heart sound. I will pass it to Hong Sing, our third partner in crime.
Yep. Thank you. Users, including those with heart disease and their families, as well as researchers and healthcare providers, have some great interests in our Echoes app. Since we launched the app on the 21st of May, within the last 30 days, the users have used it for over 4,000 times, with data storage at 11.2 gigabytes, which is still increasing every day. By using this data, we have developed quite some smart algorithms to automatically process the data. Our ambition by 2022 is to have Echoes downloaded by tens of thousands, allowing full access to record heart sounds, or even to creatively compose a song by using their own heart sounds. Thank you.
So this is where we are as a team, and we are very interested by the potential. We're coming from different backgrounds all together. We're coming from the visual arts, we're coming from computer science and algorithm recreation. And we know that in this crowd today, there's probably a lot of musicians, creative artists that could see the potential of having access to thousands and thousands of heart sounds. So today we'd like for you to dream with us on what we could possibly do together, and in listening to those and then creating novel music creation. So I'll also present you our little trailer of Echoes today. I'll go back to this. So this is us. This is Echoes. The app is available on the App Store today, so you can get it. You can try it at home with anyone. Make sure to remember the link. Make sure to tag us as well once you have tried. We'll be really curious to have your feedback. Do you have an interesting heart rhythm? Can you think of anything with it? Do you want to dance to it? Do you want to compose with it? We'll be really curious to have your feedback and make sure we try it with as many people as we can in the world globally. So this is us, and it will be really great to have your questions later on. Thank you.
A big thank you to the Echoes team. And as Salome said, please keep your questions ready for later on to get all the info you would like to receive from our teams who have just presented. And we are now actually going to end this first session with an immersive augmented reality experience. It uses pop culture and nostalgic themes to explain cancer biology. And for that, I'm very happy that we are joined by Ken Dutton-Register, who is actually joining this call today from Australia. And he's going to talk about Cancer Art Gallery now.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And please yell out if something's not working on this end. All right, so my name is Dr. Ken Dutton-Register, and I've been a cancer researcher for probably about 12 years now. And I've mainly focused on trying to understand the biology, trying to identify drug targets, and understand drug resistance. But it's only been in the last couple of years that I've really begun to reassess whether this has been the best approach to treat cancer, and instead whether I should be focusing on cancer education and cancer prevention. And the reason for this is that I've been really passionate about talking to people about cancer, and I've really found two things. One, there's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about what cancer fundamentally is. And two, the way we talk or educate people about cancer, in my opinion, is fairly bland. Usually it's online, it's very written. While it's very informative, it's really not engaging broad audiences, and it's not really appealing to youth or younger audiences. So in 2019, I decided to launch Excite Science. So we're a creative studio explaining complex cancer biology in fun and unique ways. And so the products we've created include this, the cancer biology themed escape room, but we've also created a virtual reality game. And lots of organizations have been using our activations in their outreach, education, and fundraising activities. But as we all know, COVID has been a little bit disruptive, particularly for physical events. So the project I want to talk about today is our sort of pivot to address COVID, which is a portable art gallery called the Cancer Art Gallery. So here we wanted to pair cancer researchers up with different creatives to explain cancer biology in unique ways. And we're making it immersive by using augmented reality as well as adaptive soundtracks. And we're really going for a youth-leaning pop culture nostalgic vibe. And with each of these artworks, we plan to release video didactics that will explain the cancer biology as well as the creative process, which we'll leave on an external website. Now, this project was seed funded by the Brisbane City Council Innovation Grant, and we've already built quite a strong core creative team to deliver this project. But just to give you a bit of a taste of the first three artworks that's going to be released in the next week. On the left, you're seeing one artwork that's designed to talk about how cancer first starts in a healthy cell. In the middle, you're seeing an artwork. It's one of a 7-part series talking about the complexities of the immune system and how it controls cancer. And on the right, you're looking at an artwork that's going to be talking about some of the latest treatments in late-stage cancer treatment, as well as elements of drug resistance. Now, we see a wide variety of ways we can commercialize this art gallery. Not only can we create a portable art gallery that could be rented or sold to organizations for their outreach, education, or fundraising activities, but we can also activate a large geographic footprint, whether that's through activating LED signs or potentially, for example, a cancer bike charity ride where we could put individual artworks at each of the rest stops along the way. We want to create coffee table books that has all that artwork and try and get it into chemotherapy wards so cancer patients can understand more about their disease in a really unique way. And we want to delve into sort of the merchandise and apparel so we can have augmented reality clothing. And all of this will be empowered through our app that we will create, which we can also have elements of commercialization, whether that's local or geographically located advertising. Down the line, I could also see that there's the potential, if there's a broadcaster or a distributor who would want to explore an innovative and experimental documentary. But at the moment, we're just really focused on beginning to test these first 3 artworks. So we've already had one sort of pop up in North Queensland for a cancer advocacy group called Buck Off Melanoma. And next week, we're going to be popping up at Winterfest, which is Queensland's largest football event, where we're expecting 20,000 people. So we're really interested to see how people interact with the artwork. So just to finish off, we're really looking for organizations who want to host a gallery and really test its outreach, education, and fundraising ability. But more importantly, because we're sort of in that sort of early stage, we're also looking for organizations who would want to sponsor or potentially explore co-designing some of the artwork with us. So if you're interested, definitely reach out. I'd love to stay in touch. This is my email, and I look forward to chatting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ken. And we are now happy to move into the Q&A section. I think that Maria may still be able to maybe lead us into the Q&A. Please let us know in case you already have to rush away. And we can take 2 questions because we are running a little bit behind already. So yeah, I'm handing over to Maria, and we look forward to catching your questions for the art and health section and session.
All right, everyone, if you have questions for our 4 teams, feel free to put them in the chat box. But in the meantime, I have a question for teams, because I think this is something probably everyone is interested in. So what are some of the most important lessons that you have learned on your journey over the past few months since you were started the program? What is something that you think would be valuable to share with the rest of the teams, what you have learned about yourself and about your business as well? Who wants to start? Leah, Isaac, do you want to start first?
Yeah, well, one of the most important lessons, and I think that counts for all of us, is the flexibility that you need to have in your own vision and project and adapt that. Talk to many different stakeholders, whether they are from science, business, entrepreneurs, governmental stakeholders, to understand what drives them and to see how our proposal and product fits in that and who could champion us in that. So that's the second one, find the champions to back the project. And in our case, we hope that having a terrific art installation as Prosthetic X could be the champion to further on develop VIX.
Great, thank you for that. Salome, Pablo, Hongxing, what would be your thoughts on this? What would be your lessons that you have learned?
I don't know if you guys would agree with me, but I think for us it's been a very interesting journey of figuring out what structure framework we need to put in place, because we come from of course like a health tech research background, but we want to have this cultural artistic approach. So who do we need as support to be fast enough so that we don't get too slow from as you said, Maria, in the very early introduction, how long does it take to take a health innovation into the market? So what can we do to go faster than this? And I think it's been really, really great to be part of the START program to figure out new ideas and creative options. So that's my thought. I don't know if you guys agree.
Thank you, Salome. Pablo, what are your thoughts?
Thank you.
What are some of your lessons?
I think that is a long-lasting lesson that I keep improving on. Is like that concept of the connected networks. I do have some colleagues around me, but connecting with people that are diametrically opposite to what my expertise is or completely complementary is quite enriching. And it's just jumping out of your comfort zone. Those are really kind of common sayings, but they have a true meaning. And indeed, the difficulty, as Salome is saying, is when to take the plunge, when to get out there and try to get some feedback and how to, organically grow and how to. Those decisions are the difficult ones. You have some dreams. You don't know whether they are too stupid or too great or too mature or too immature. And that's an ongoing journey.
Great. Hongxing, do you have something maybe to add? Or we can just we can continue to
Sorry, Maria. I actually learnt it was quite challenging to be in the Brisbane Australian time zone, and also doing the program with a little baby that was born about 2 or 3 weeks into it was pretty tough. But bringing it back to the actual business related, I think I learnt a lot about the risk associated with business, particularly in regards to intellectual property. And I think I definitely, that was where I got probably some of the most rewarding information about how to de-risk projects, particularly if other organizations are going to use it, the activations that we create.
Great. Ivan and Manuela, what would be your lessons that you have learned that you can share with everyone?
Yeah, I think we learn to simplify our work, because doesn't matter how many good ideas and amazing ideas you can come up with. Sometimes technology is hard to achieve, and you need to go back to basics, and you need to restart your work with something that sometimes it's much easier to understand and to comprehend, especially in a business environment. People need to catch really fast your messages. And sometimes, those technological projects are very complex to explain and to reach their goal.
Emanuela, would you add something?
Probably. No, I agree with Ivan, and explaining our idea was always an issue. So I hope we achieved that in our presentation. The journey with Starts in Motion was very important for us, because we were focusing on implementing technologies. So we always felt we need to add, we need to be there. But yes, as Ivan was mentioning, probably we need to start step by step.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for your insights, and good luck on your journey. Keeping my fingers crossed, and Aurélie, over to you for the rest of the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Maria. And I think since we are anyways running a little bit behind, we are happy to collect your questions also in the chat during the next sessions. Please remember also, if you are interested in connecting with one of the teams, that you can reach out to them directly, but also that you can reach out to us if you want to connect with somebody in particular. And we are really super happy to make the link and to connect you. So a big thank you now to Team Echoes, Team Cancer AR Gallery, Team VIX Prosthetic X, and Team Senseware for kicking us off for Starts in Motion Day. And I'm actually now going to lead us right into our second session that is focused on art tech for privacy, user data, and democracy. So the two projects we'll hear about now, Invisible Voice and Privy 2, are artistic exploration on privacy in the digital world. And they really help users understand the life cycle of their own personal data in the web domain. And in that regard, I'm really delighted to welcome our introductory speakers, Björn Kamann and Tore Knudsen, who received a START Prize for Artistic Exploration in 2019 for their fantastic Project Alias. So Björn is a Danish designer currently working at Delater in Amsterdam. He combines his curiosity for new and emerging technologies with his passion for physical and human interactions. And he's also always finding a balance between nature and technology. His experience lies in experience design, installation art, robotics, physical computing, and he works across multiple disciplines between physical and virtual spaces. Tore Knudsen is an interaction designer currently working at Top Innovation and Design in Sweden, in Malmö, and his interest in design and technology started with photography and has expanded into many different mediums ranging from web to physical installations. And he's driven by an interest to explore and challenge our relationship with modern technology, doing so through design and prototyping. And I'm really very delighted to give the floor to them and to share their approach to Project Alias, which is a project that very much challenges our approach to our devices and how they impact our privacy. So I'll hand over now to Björn and Tore.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction, Christina. Yeah, I know Björn, you will throw up a presentation here. So we are super glad that we were invited to open this this topic of privacy and data and transparency, which of course we worked a lot with doing our project that we did in 2019. And now you already introduced like who we are and what we do today. So maybe we can just start directly into speaking a bit about the project we did.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. We want to share the project that we've got involved with START Prize in the first place, and it's essentially why we're here today. It is a project we called Alias. It's a teachable parasite, and I'll get to the reason why it's parasite. That's quite crucial detail, but it's really designed to give users more control over their smart homes and their assistants. And it essentially gives them more control in the sense of customization, but also privacy. And the way it works is quite simple. It's a small teachable device, all locally, of course. So there's no data escaping the device. There's a local connection to your phone. And this device then sits on top of your home assistant. In this case, you can see a Google Home that's being put on a little hat, a little mushroom hat, which has all the technology inside it. And with a phone app, really simple interaction, you're allowed to actually teach it a new name, a new trigger word. And this is important because we need to use this trigger word to tell the Google Home when to be on and off, but in a private way. We, of course, all know that a lot of these devices are essentially a microphone connected straight up to the biggest companies in the world. So this was one way to kind of create a bit of that control back. And this microphone that's connected to, in this case, Google, is sitting on the top of this device, so the Google Home. There's two of them, and if you can see in the bottom left corner there, there's two speakers, and they're positioned right on top of the microphones. And this is the way Alias actually interacts with that assistant. So when you're not using it, it's just blasting noise, special designed sound waves to completely, essentially numbing or confusing this assistant, so it's unable to behave as it usually should.
And when you then trigger it with your own word, let's say I call it Gandalf, it will wake it up for you, and you're allowed to use it for a set amount of seconds that you can set it to. And that's pretty much it. But there's a bit more to it, of course. The function is very much a utilitarian approach, but it's also a narrative and a symbolism of the challenges that we are facing with privacy. So I'll just talk a little bit about the inspiration we actually came from. You might notice that the top of the shell looked a little organic, and we're very much inspired by nature. And wherever we can draw inspiration from nature, I think it's always a good direction. So we came across this mycelium sort of parasite. I can't even remember the name right now. What was it again? Cordyceps, exactly. They're also known as zombie ants. So they're actually funguses that go into small insects or species. Sorry for these very crazy photos. Hope you're not scared away, but they essentially grow from the inside and out. And it takes control over the ant, and then it kind of steers it up the tree and lets the spores out as soon as it reached a certain altitude. But the really beautiful thing about this fungus is that whenever a species like an ant or any other insect for that matter gets more control in the sense of aerial control or more power in the ecosystem in a rainforest, the chances of getting affected increases exponentially, meaning that this fungus actually helps balancing a lot of the power plays that are in sort of going around in the ecosystems. And it's in that sort of holistic view, it's a good guy. It's balancing out. We thought the tech world currently is in the need of something similar. We are seeing giants rising up above everyone else, and we don't really have any methods like this fungus that could equalize it. So we wanted to make a parasite that could infect Google and Amazon from within, essentially. Not only as a hardware hack, but also as a sort of conceptual thinking and mind-changing device.
Yeah. So so we actually pretty fast came up with the technological solution to the problem or what we wanted to achieve. But just having that, cold hardware laying on top of the Google Home was also very clear to us that this is definitely not enough. Like in the end, it's not about making a solution to a problem, because that's in many ways also a very naive solution, of course, and we are aware of that. So the real goal for us was to mix the artistic approach with the design approach, which we are working with on our everyday basic, and create this bigger narrative inspired from nature. And that also meant that we also did a lot of other explorative experiments to explore this theme of bringing nature into the tech world. And we actually did that very literally, as you see in this picture, by ordering a real mushroom kit and grow it on top of a Google Home. I think we had some weird idea in the beginning that this should be our shelf to the hardware, but obviously mushrooms does not work that well for that after a few weeks when the rotten process started and so on. So that's why we went on to 3D printing the shell and kind of make a lookalike mushroom instead. But they turned out in some really great photos, we think, that really manifest this idea of growing a movement from the individual level and up, so like bottom-up approach. And another very important aspect of the project for be true to that is to make it open source, and that has been very important for us, of course, that everyone would be able to get the instructions for building them themselves, and also see all the code that lives inside of the alias to keep it open, as in contrast to the smart devices we normally can buy and use. And it's important to say that the product Alias was never a real product. It never became a product. It was never our intention. But still, we were in this gray zone of mixing real and fake. So there has definitely been a lot of people that thought it was a real thing and something that they could buy. And especially after we released it, it got picked up by a lot of newspapers, and not only within art or design, what can I say, communities or bubbles, but in very general big newspapers as well, and that generated so many discussions that we could both see and take part in different social media comment sections and forums and Reddits and a few news coverings as well. And I think we still believe that is really the best achievement or the biggest result of the project is that big discussion and really difficult discussion that it has been part of facilitating, not only among experts and designers, but also people who might have technology in their home, but don't work with it or maybe have the same thoughts around it on a daily basis. So that's bringing stuff out of the art room and make people react to it in a real context is, I think, something that has been really, really fun with this project. Of course, there was also the art rooms, as you can see on these images, which we also had the chance to do and show it off in different settings, and especially in China a few times, which is a very interesting place to discuss privacy, especially through this kind of devices.
So I'm just very briefly jumping in because we are running out of time a little bit, and we should head into the discussions and the pitches of the projects. But I really want to give a very big thank you to the both of you, and also for joining us later on still for the discussion, because I think Project Alias is really one of these projects that showcases the potential of storytelling in starts and the kind of thought processes that artists can trigger in the general public through their work. So I think this is a really wonderful connector also to the two projects that we are going to hear about today from Mark Farrett and Michelle Ledden. And we'll have a chance, of course, to jump also into the Q&A at the end of the two presentations we will have now in a minute. And now I would like to invite Mark to the floor, who is going to introduce us to Invisible Voice, which is a computer plugin that shows you information and statistics about the companies and websites that you're using as you are browsing the internet.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm Mark, I'm an artist, and I've spent a lot of years fighting for data privacy in kind of more speculative ways, more dramatic ways, more ways that get lots of media attention. But I think most people who fight for data privacy would probably agree that it's a losing battle, a battle that is going the wrong way. So it's trying to approach it at a slightly different angle, trying to approach it at a tool that can help people make decisions. So yeah, every day new positive and negative information is revealed about the individuals and organizations and companies who form the foundation of our lives and society. This information can define whether we trust this website, whether we want to spend our money, and how we interact with these companies. But having continuous access to this new daily information about the ethical and moral practice of all the companies we use in our lives is incredibly time-consuming, demanding, and it's just simply unrealistic to expect each individual to find out all the information. Invisible Voice changes this. It's a piece of computer software, a browser plugin, that's automatically updated daily, informing the user on a whole range of issues about the companies and individuals who own the websites you are visiting as and when you are on their website. So Invisible Voice is a little button on your browser that when clicked opens a little pop-up that tells you a whole range of information about the company, from who the owners are, their income, the number of employees, their political leaning circulation where relevant, the company's revenue, the parent company, the stakeholders' other companies, and many, many, many more facts about the company. So in its present state, we've got a working prototype of Invisible Voice, as you can see. We're using 4 trusted websites for all of the data. So that's Wikipedia, Wikidata, MediaSpice, FactChecker, and Google News. And any information we display on the plugin is linked directly to its source and explains how they got to their conclusion. We specifically built Invisible Voice to scale, meaning the whole process is fully automated. We're currently using a test base of around 1,500 companies and expect to increase this to around 10,000 websites in the coming months. Anything over 10,000 websites will need new servers and a running cost of about £300 a month. At this point, we can grow exponentially up to about £800 a month, where we can have 500,000 companies on our database that are updated daily. Simply through the click of your mouse on essentially any website, all of this information is shown. And most importantly, the plugin is never annoying. We don't use any cookies, and it subtly disappears into the background whilst becoming an ever-present reference point as and when you browse the internet. So we've been developing Invisible Voice since July 2020. And we have big plans for Invisible Voice to kind of turn it into this platform that turns each individual person into kind of collective of individuals. But shorter term, we're looking to fix a few little bugs in the plugin, redesign the front end because we think there was a lot of information and it could be arranged better. We want to add 4 more specific sources of information related to the environment, human rights, employee satisfaction, and very specific company information. A few little more things, and then we're hoping to launch it towards the end of this year. We are looking for financial support. So far, we've only had in financial return for this €1,000 to develop it so far. Of course, we've had the great support of Starts in Motion, which has been hugely helpful. But we are looking for further financial support. So if anyone can donate anything, that will really, really help us to then really develop this and push it and make it public towards the end of the year. We are also very appreciative of any other support people can give us. That doesn't necessarily have to be financially, whether that be financial, whether that be production, whether that be PR, whether that be you've got good skills, whether that be anything. Please, please, please do get in contact with us if you are interested in helping us with Invisible Voice. Because we are only a small team of 2 people. Myself, an artist who fights for data privacy, and Connor, our back-end developer, who doesn't really like me saying this, but he's one of the main programmers for the World Food Programme that won the 2020, the current Nobel Peace Prize. And it's this kind of spirit that brought us together, this desire to use this incredibly powerful tool that is the internet to not only challenge the status quo, but truly subvert it. Because with projects like Invisible Voice, I think if we're able to collectively engage in alternative structures and systems online that place the collective of individuals first, we can really start shifting the balance of power away from the dominant corporations who shape not only the economy of the future, but I think we can fundamentally change the ethics and conduct by which big companies practice. So yeah, if you would like to help us, as I say, in whatever way you can, we are very, very appreciative of that. So please don't hesitate to get in contact. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions later.
Thank you very much, Mark, for giving us these fantastic insights into Invisible Voice. So we will now jump to the project Privy 2, and I'm handing over to Michelle Ledon, who is going to introduce us to her work, which is a set of innovative screen and digital works that are aimed at recapturing and reimagining privacy in the digital world. And of course, after that, we will have the chance to jump into a Q&A with the artists and the creatives and these 2 projects. So please feel free to take the floor, Michelle.
Thank you, Christina. I hope you can hear me. This will be a bit chaotic I'm sorry, but you are right now in my house, and I don't really know you, so maybe we should go outside. Here we are. That's a little bit better. I want to talk to you seriously about something, privacy. It's a membrane between us and the world. Without it, we have no empathy. Left exposed, we're held prisoner to shame. Strip humans of empathy, and they in turn strip the planet of its resources and other humans of their dignity, of their agency, and of their ability to mitigate disaster. Now that we know each other a little bit better, maybe we can go back inside and I can show you what's on my computer. Hold on, it's coming. Digital society, it's broken. Privacy is disappearing, taking with it civil discourse, truth, human trust, and the foundations of democratic society. No tech token, no manifesto, no framework, nor ideology is going to put it back together again. What is called for now is true progress and the innovation and the re-innovation that only art and artists can provide. It is time for art to begin the complex work of reimagining the world and of confronting and mastering technology instead of complying with it. That is what our project, Privy 2, from the Assembly of Privacy Doxographers is about. The Assembly of Privacy Doxographers is a collective of makers and producers, ephemeral, sometimes permanent, creating innovative screen and XR works aimed at recapturing and reimagining privacy in the digital world. Our first assembly came together in 2020, and we created Privy 2, Explorations in Isolation and Intimacy, an interactive digital installation that explores the history of privacy rights through the use of brain-computer interfaces. Privy 2 looks into the mind of this man, artist and composer Jason J. Snell, while he is in isolation, while he is engaged in an intimate moment, and when he's exposed to an audience. I would like to share a little bit of that performance with you. So, just to tell you what we've accomplished so far with this project. Privy 2 was an official selection, first at the Sheffield Doc Fest in 2020, before COVID overtook us. We had a live installation pitch, and we converted it to a digital installation. And we most recently showed it at CPH Docs as an official selection in the 2021 interactive lineup. People were there most interested at our confrontation using a technology to exploit and explore the pitfalls of privacy that technology itself created. Privy 2 was also our very first prototype in 2020 after the meat market was shown at the Electric Dreams Festival in Birmingham in the UK. And as a result of that performance, we received reviews in the London press that called it a smart and troubling use of technology. That is exactly what we were going for, and we were happy to receive that review. Next, as a result of the work that we've done so far, we've been invited to show our project at the MIT Open Documentary Lab in September. That is where you come in. What we're currently looking for are new partners to help carry this project forward into new festivals, into new venues, and to help us create that live installation that we initially intended. We are also looking for commissions for new XR works. We are seeking also the involvement and the buy-in of creatives, of technologists, of project managers, and of producers to build new partnerships and new projects. We are also looking for proposals of new works. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can reach us here at the Assembly PDocs on Twitter. We keep a low social media profile because we don't see it as the best use of technology for humans. And you can find out more about us at the Assembly, at the website privy2.com. You can email me at michelle@privy2.com. Lastly, I'd like to introduce you to the next project for the Assembly of Privacy Doxographers. And in particular, my project. Here is a picture right behind the house or the apartment of my mother in the outskirts of Las Vegas, Nevada, the place where I grew up and have learned to call home. I currently live in Berlin. I'm traveling to Las Vegas next week to start shooting a 30-minute, 360 video essay, an exploration of the visual boundaries of Las Vegas, Nevada, and of what I've learned about the right to be forgotten in democratic society, having grown up in that place. My mother is now moving after 40 years of living in the Las Vegas Valley. Las Vegas, and that is a huge event for me and for my family. Las Vegas is the place of last resort for many migrant families. And it's the last place of second chances for many Americans. I'm looking for investors and in-kind support to help realize that project. Thank you for your time.
So thank you very much to Michelle and Mark for introducing us to their two projects that dive very differently into the topics of privacy, private data, and also intimacy, I would say, in our environment. And I would like to jump us off into the Q&A now, and maybe I can hand over to Björn, who might have a couple of questions while we wait for questions from the audience also. So Mark and Michelle, if you can maybe turn on your cameras, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I will. I'm a hard time choosing which question I should take here. There's a lot of good stuff. First of all, thank you both of you for a really clear and simple presentation. It was really understandable. I want to start with Invisible Voice. I'm going to download your plugin today. That's for sure. I'm definitely going to give it a try. I loved how you thought about a lot about the behavior of the plugin and the tone of voice you wanted to reach for, and it seems very neutral in its presentation, which is probably good for a lot of reasons. But I wanted to get into that reason, which is you as a curator, artist, of course, are coming with some sort of opinions into this, which data points to select, which one to highlight, which one to show first. I wonder how do you tackle not getting into the ethical boundaries of you projecting something into someone's judgment of your data set, essentially. How do you keep it that neutral, but yet informative that someone can learn quickly?
So it's an excellent question. It's something that we have struggled a lot with, is that we don't want to tell you what's good and bad. You know, that I will say something's good, you'll probably just say it's bad. That how do we get over that? So we were trying to look to remove bias, and we were trying to use the most neutral or most trustworthy, in a way, websites that people use. So that's why Wikipedia is there, for example, and Wikidata, and Glassdoor, Glassroom is going in there soon, and World Benchmark is going in, which is a UN commissioned organization who are ranking the top 2,000 companies based on human rights, based on their environmental practice, based on their workers policy, kind of, and it's a score. So it's almost like good bad. But yeah, we work very hard to try and remove bias, and we are definitely bias in what we're showing you. We're showing you information related to tax. We're showing you information related to prejudice as a whole. We're showing you, we're showing philanthropy, which is a more positive thing. But outside of that obvious kind of bias that's there, it is trying to be as neutral as possible, and it is trying to be, you know, things. People assume that only bad things come up about taxes, but also some good things do come up. Some bad things do come up about prejudice, but also good things do come up. So it's really based on the company, and if their practice is good, then it will be showing good things. But it just tends to be that most companies and individuals do bad things. So more often than not, it shows you negative things. But yeah, the neutrality is something that we were trying and still work very hard on. And we are rearranging kind of the front end. We do want it to look differently. We do want the user to have more control over what they see first and what they see last. Some people care a lot about the income of a company. Other people care very passionately about the environment. So let you choose. Yeah, we are working hard on the neutrality. But yeah, so you can download the plugin now on Firefox in its current state, and we'll be releasing it on Chrome in the coming weeks. We're just waiting for them to accept our privacy policy, ironically. Firefox accepted it. But yeah, that will be out shortly on Chrome.
Very cool. I also have a question to your project, Mark, and I also want to say that it's a super cool project, really. I love how you're kind of making this kind of anti-branding. I don't know if that's the right word, but how normally when you visit a website, you know, there's put so much effort into how you want to stand out as a company, what you want to represent. But all of that can be empty words if what you do is not living up to that. And I really think that the data and you present is kind of, you know, getting right into that core of it's what you do and not what you say you do. That is important. But one question I had is, obviously this is a lot of data, and I try to look around in different companies, and it's also very different data depending on the company and the sector they're working in, and etc. And I was wondering if you ever in the process looked more focused on one vertical, or like, let's say fashion have a big problem with greenwashing, for example, and that it could, what would it have meant if it was more focused on, you know, more in depth with greenwashing, for example, in that industry?
Greenwashing and fashion is actually the area that we have spent quite a lot of time, probably more than any other as it happens, trying to look and work out how can we avoid greenwashing. That's such a difficult issue to have as a fully automated process that doesn't have a human being looking over it, to avoid greenwashing. And it is something that we struggled with and something that we haven't worked out. And this is where the World Benchmark Organization, they're releasing stuff in November, will really kind of help us out with, because they are ranking top 2,000 fashion companies in the world on lots of different issues. One of them is the environment. One of them is also, over the past 10 years, how much have they improved specifically? So, you know, 10 years ago, people didn't really care, but now people do. So the last 10 years are probably more revealing than anything else. We are trying to home in and try to be more focused. But the main issue is that we're a small team. It's 2 people. I have basic skills. Connor has unbelievable skills. But it's only really one person able to do this on, you know, 1,000 euros to date. It's really, we would like to increase the team and be able to bring people in. We'd like to be able to start analyzing, for example, social media. We'd like to have an analysis on each company on the last, say, hour or day of what social media's mood is on those companies, because that's also quite a revealing thing. I'm trying to bring more user information into it. So yeah, we are trying to make it more focused, but kind of bigger focused within each industry. But that really is a matter of time and money that's holding us back.
Of course, but thank you.
Yep.
So maybe we can move over to privacy too. Michelle, thank you for really inspiring new approach thinking of privacy. It's, you know, me and Tor worked with privacy a lot now, and we talk a lot about it a lot, but what does it actually mean? I think that's a really good question to get down to, and you're getting at it really interesting angle with different mediums and exploring it on an individual and different perspectives. But I can't help think, what has it changed for you? Has the word privacy changed for you? Is it even false to use even the same stigma or descriptions from the past? Are we thinking of a new privacy? Is there something here that needs to be rethought, even in the way we use language and perception of privacy today? But also personally, have it changed for yourself? Coming in and out.
I have a lot of things to say about that. Of course, I think anybody who knows me knows that I do. Thank you for enduring my presentation, or at least at the end, I'm very emotional because it's a very hard thing to leave Las Vegas. I'm sure you guys saw the movie. So yeah, I mean, I can't say that being from the Western United States, even though I'm a Luxembourgish American, that having grown up there, that there isn't a different approach and a different understanding of what privacy means to people in the Western part of the US, because it is the frontier. It is the frontier that all of us are now descending into and have been descending into for the last 20 years with the internet. It is that sacred space that the Electronic Frontier Foundation tries to talk about. I'm not in agreement with the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They don't have a monopoly on the West and on frontiers. You know, we all have to be discussing this. And I don't think anything has changed. I've been deeply and profoundly involved in privacy issues for the last 12 years, and I'm always amazed at how much people try to reduce it to technological problems. And I think we need to be very careful about that, because it is a human problem. And I've worked with Liz Steininger at Least Authority, with Julia Scott Stevenson, who's also part of the Assembly, and Jason J. Snell. And you know, it has been different working with each of them, and each of them has a very different understanding. And I'm trying to amass a coherent, broad understanding of the project, and not just of our project, but of the concept of privacy, which I think we don't think enough about. It is fundamental to democratic society. It is about everything about who we are and what we're doing. And we need to, and I really want this project, if nothing else, to be a slap in the face of anybody who thinks that you can reduce it to simple opt-ins and opt-outs and make them wake up and reconsider, take a cold drink, and have a real strong look at what the project of individual liberties have been, of what collective society is, and ask ourselves why we have to sell out our friends and our family and the essence of what it means to be human to technologies that claim that they're protecting it. And we should be really careful going forward. Thank you for your question. It's so nice to be able to talk about that and that you seized on that. But concept, it's innovation of concept, not of tech, not of code. We need to rethink it. So for me, I feel very strongly about it. Nothing has changed. And I think growing up in the Las Vegas Valley taught me very strongly how much people need escape and how much migrants need a place, migrants of every kind, need a place to begin again.
So I think we would have time maybe for one more question, if you both maybe have another one about Privy 2, and then we will slowly close out the session.
I can go again. Also, if there's anyone in the audience, the digital audience. But
I think we don't have any questions from the audience at the moment, so we can take one more from both of you, and then go into our lunch break before the afternoon sessions.
Okay, I can jump in. Yeah. Yeah, I was so again. Thanks for your previous answer as well. It's really I really appreciate what you say about privacy being a people problem and not a tech problem, and I think that was really something we also spent time trying to balance. But I'm interested in, like, as a designer, and now you're using XR and mixed realities as the medium for exploring this theme, enable people to explore the theme of privacy. What are the qualities of XR you think is really, what are the qualities that you think XR is having in exploring this theme of privacy?
I'll give a short answer and I'll defer it to Julia Scott-Stevenson if she's present. My short answer is that XR is forging new boundaries, asking new things of humans to submit to, and not just one or two things, not just data points, but the way that those data points combine to reveal almost everything about human beings. Technologies need to be forced to regard themselves, to look back at themselves, and XR as an evolving space, as a space where people are willing to take risks, is well suited for that sort of exploration. I'm just going to defer the rest to Julia if you want to respond at all.
Sure. Hi. Thanks, Michelle. Yes, XR is a really interesting space to address these issues because on the one hand, it gives us capacity to explore the concept of privacy through a range of new technologies, but it also has really scary potentials as well, and it enables the capturing of personal data on a vastly increased level. And I certainly don't want to reduce this down to just an issue about capturing data, but this is a big part of it, definitely. That, with VR headsets, we can do eye tracking, with embodiment and bodily immersion, we can do gait analysis, we can do all kinds of things here that can be incredibly problematic. But it also means there's possibilities, and the stage that this industry is at, we haven't yet bedded down all of these systems, and so there's an opportunity to really make sure that as we develop this and as we move forward, we do this in a really ethical way that explores the privacy implications and really takes care of that, and takes care of it from the perspective of the participant, and thinks through what is the individual's interests and capacity and wants in this situation, and how can we design some really fantastic experiences that kind of spin this around and look at it from a much more experiential perspective, from a bodily perspective, in ways that really respect and sort of celebrate that individual privacy instead.
I love that. Thank you, Julia. It makes me really excited also that this technology potentially could have everyone experience it on their individual level. It doesn't need to be something that you're passively watching as a performance, but it's something you could actually put on people's heads, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. And something we were trying to get at was so that people can, maybe there's something about having agency bodily in an experience, being able to do something. If you feel like you can do it, does that give you that feeling of having control? Right. And maybe that reminds you that you have this control in other places too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just jump in here to finish out our second session on privacy, user data, and democracy. I want to give a really big thank you to Björn and Tore for joining us today to share Project Alias. A big thank you to Mark for introducing Invisible Voice, and to Michelle for bringing the Privy 2 assembly and collective and the project and sharing Privy 2. Thank you for joining us for the morning session of Starts in Motion Day. Unless Aurélie has something to add, I don't think she has, then I would leave you all for a lunch break. And thanks again to everybody for joining us. And we will see you again in the afternoon at 2 p.m. to dive into the other projects of Starts in Motion. Big thank you, and see you in the afternoon.